Having a dedicated sketchbook practice has been something that has actually transformed my life. Like, art is therapy. As I have aged and grown into myself as a human and an artist, I have come to see how important creative expression is for everybody. We are all inherently creative beings. We have all been put on this planet to exist and experience life. And in my opinion, a big part of our purpose here on Earth is to create. And I think that we have, as a culture, defined creativity in the means of art and artistic expression, but that is not inherently true. I see so many people butt up against this idea of creativity has to be art, and I want to challenge that for you and help you challenge the definition of creativity and define it for yourself. My name's Sabina and this is Left Handed Studios, and today I'm going to take you through a little sketchbook tour. This is the third sketchbook in a series of 11 sketchbooks that I have finished over the course of well over a decade in my attempts at living a creative life. I share my creative endeavors with you with the hope that you will be inspired to pick up your own creative endeavors. I myself am an artist. I'm primarily a jewelry maker. I've been dabbling in the world of fibers. I paint, I draw, I make ceramics. I just go where the wind takes me, and I have made it my mission to share my creative process with you lovely fine people of the internet. In a world where AI can create anything that you believe in, I believe that now more than ever it is important to make things with your hands. AI is a beautiful, powerful tool that will change the world forever. I do believe that we have not even scratched the surface of what it will do for us, but maybe it doesn't have to be so negative. Maybe it can help create space for us humans to have more time for handcrafts and hand creation and hand creating things. Throughout the course of this video, I'll be showing you the pages of this sketchbook and the inner workings of a early 20-something-year-old woman budding and becoming herself well before she goes through a life-altering healing journey. It's very interesting to go back and spend time with past versions of myself to see where I've been and to sit with where I am now and really sit in gratitude for the amount of growth that a person can go through in their lives. Like, it's incredible. I am a completely different person than I was when I was 20 years old, and to see the proof of that is a good reminder for me. Growth is something that happens when you're open to it. And when you're open to it, so many things can change, and it can be quite a beautiful process. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I'm just going to talk about creativity a little bit more. I'm sharing with you my creative practice. It looks like making things with my hands and turning like ideas into physical objects. In my pursuit of creativity and understanding what creativity really is, a big thing that helped me was actually The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It's a very famous artist program that is like a self-guided book that you work through that helps you work through blocks around creativity and why you might believe that you can't be a creative person. It helped me unlock the understanding that we are inherently creative beings. And that in society, we have defined creativity to mean art and creating physical objects. That creativity has to be about painting and drawing and art. And I want you to be very creative as you define creativity, because each person has a very unique gift to offer the world, and your creativity will not look the same as somebody else's. Even in the sphere of art, my artistic practice is going to look different than every other artist who's ever existed. You might watch my videos and be inspired to implement certain things into your artistic practice, but over time that will develop and you will create your own style with how you do things. So many artists carry sketchbooks and work in sketchbooks, but we all do it differently. We all hold different space for different things within our sketchbooks. And that is the beauty of it. Diversity, that we are all doing similar practices and creating completely different outcomes. Creativity can look like art, it can look like music, it can look like dancing, it can look like having a conversation, it can look like holding space, it can look like being a mother, it can look like having a garden or working in your kitchen. Anytime that you are taking something from the idea space and making it a reality, that is a creative act. Watch my creative journey, have fun with it. Don't put any pressure on yourselves to be like me and get inspired where it resonates, leave what doesn't. Stick around as long as you like, stick around as long as it feels good. This is the 4th sketchbook in an 11-part sketchbook series. I'm releasing one sketchbook tour every month for the rest of 2025. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so thankful that you're here. I have 3 other sketchbook tours already available. If you want to go back and binge that content, please feel free to do so. Stick around, subscribe if you'd like to see the rest of the series. It'll be running until December. So thanks for being here. Without further ado, this is Sketchbook Tours episode 4. I mentioned this a little bit in the last video, how I became enamored with Moleskine was through Pinterest and just being inspired by the kinds of notebooks and sketchbooks that people would keep. And it just inspired me to keep my own. I think this is the sketchbook where I really start to collect things that are more indicative of like where I am in life and the things that I do. Like these stickers that I collected. We went to San Francisco and Santa Cruz to look at some colleges for my brother. I got a tattoo at Golden Rule. And my friend and I spent all of our extra income at King Tut Cafe smoking hookah and talking about clothing and boys. I miss that time in my life sometimes, and I miss things, but I also was like very mentally ill. And I think that I used these journals and sketchbooks as a way to process a lot of the world before I had really started to understand what had happened to me as a kid. I don't really want to continue wearing the blanket of victimhood, but I just, didn't have the most loving, supporting childhood. And art was the outlet through which I expressed myself and I expressed my emotions, and I started to see that things could be different through art. I found a lot of my self-esteem and self-worth through my art practice as well, and I think that's what kept me alive, honestly, through this time. And so I'm thankful for the space that are these sketchbooks, because without them, I don't know what life would look like now, really. Like this practice to keep my thoughts and feelings and ideas and write them down. And then even like in reflecting on them, the last couple that I've seen, it's like really just makes me walk down memory lane and think about the kind of person that I once was, and to see the progress that I've made and give a little bit of space to celebrate that. If you ever needed a reason to start a journal and sketchbook practice, here is one. It's just really cool to catalog time and how time passes and the kind of people you get to be throughout different periods of time in your life. At this point in my sketchbook journey, I'm using my Moleskines as journals as well. So there's a lot of pages that are just walls of text, and unless something pops out to me, I'm not going to read them. Like if you really want to be nosy about it, you can pause and read. I will not translate my handwriting because I don't have very good handwriting, and it just is what it is. So let's get into the sketchbook, okay? The reward is still the blood of your firstborn child. Don't keep poisonous people. Enjoy your life. Oh. There's a jewelry design that I never made, but it's still actually really cool. Love is weird. It makes me feel weird and slightly confused. I just don't know what time in my life this is. I didn't have very many boyfriends, honestly. I was very fearful avoidant. So anytime I would feel like maybe I could fall in love with somebody, I convinced myself that I was actually like a poison to them, which is funny. Like I was the poisonous person in my mind. And so I would just break up with people before even giving them a chance because I wanted to save them from me. Thoughts and feelings about a boy. This is like kind of interesting. First breakthrough of realizing how important gratitude is. I think a common thing for me within these sketchbooks is realizing that I was speaking to something. There was something trying to work through me. There was some kind of spirit guide being speaking to me through my art and through my writing. I see it a lot, especially in my longer form journals that I get into. I don't think I really start journaling until like 2017, 2018. And when I do go back into those journals, I see that something was speaking to me. I was connected to something spiritual, I think, for a long time, and I just didn't know. I just thought, I don't know, slay the pussy. Yes, slay it. Prismacolor markers still continuing to change my life. So this is 2016, July 2016. Some jewelry designs. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. Ooh, okay, I remember this. I worked for Starbucks, and I worked for the Starbucks at the college. So it was through Aramark, and we had to do these like training days where you like had to learn about, like, it wasn't like corporate Starbucks, it was corporate Aramark through the college. I spent all day in a classroom doodling this and listening, and I don't remember what it was, but this like style of drawing is something I played with for a long time, and I kind of miss thinking and seeing the world this way. Go suck a dick, yo. I just am laughing at myself because, okay, so a couple videos ago, in the first of the smaller sketchbooks, so it's the second video in this series, I find this page that's like, 2015 New Year's resolutions. I need to be less vulgar because being vulgar is trashy. And saying fuck is unattractive. Probably because I was like listening to a stupid man who thought I wasn't good enough. And I also just didn't think I was good enough. So I was like, oh man, I gotta be better about that. But then like you see over the next several, like every book I make has vulgarities in it. And I love the freedom of it. Maybe if it makes me trashy, I guess go get a trash bag, bitch, because that's just me. There's a little cold brew iced coffee ratio. I cannot drink cold brew anymore. It makes my heart stop. This semester kind of sucks already. I'm way overbooked in my relationships. Oh. I was a bad girlfriend. I'll be straight up about that. We were both damaged. Being able to identify if you are hurting or wronging someone before feeling guilty. I would feel guilty just for like existing. You don't need the approval of everyone. It's not a bad thing if someone is mad at you. It's not your job to make everyone happy. Your needs are important too. What do you need today? What do you need right now? Don't make up excuses in your head for every situation. It's usually not necessary. These were notes after therapy because I started to see a therapist. This was like really the beginning of my healing journey. This was the era where I'm like identifying emotions. I did not know how to identify emotions. I would go to therapy and then I would sit in my car after and I would write down my thoughts and impressions on the session. So reflect on them. And as you can see now, all valid. All of this was mind-boggling, world-breaking stuff for me though. I don't need the approval of everyone. It's not a bad thing if someone is mad at me. Are you kidding? That is a life or death situation. Don't you know anything? Find your flow. Ooh, girl, we're tapping into something good here. Okay. More therapy notes and some doodles after. We'll read them together. Don't expect people to be different people. Okay, no. Don't expect people to be different. People don't change. Accept them for who they are, even if you don't like it. Let me be clear. People can change, but they're going to change on their own time. So if you're waiting around for somebody to change, you're going to be waiting forever. Like, can you accept someone for who they are as they are right now? If the answer is no, move on. They might change, but they just might not be your responsibility. You know what I'm saying? It might not be for you to experience them as a changed being. I know in my life I have changed a lot, so I am a real life example of people can change. But I changed for myself. I didn't change for a boyfriend. I didn't change for a friend. I changed because I had to change, and that was it. Thoughts have power. Don't give them control of your emotions, especially when it comes to hating yourself. I could probably use that still, honestly. I could probably use that advice today. I've been on a self-hating recovery journey for a long time, and I still don't know what it looks like to fully accept myself. I'll be completely honest with you, but I do know that when you let the thoughts run rampant without ever checking them, it gets real ugly real fast. You'll never enjoy everything you do in school, so stop trying to. Find a positive purpose to an assignment as opposed to a negative one. I have a hard time still with my life thinking I don't have to do things I don't want to do. I have a really hard time doing things I don't want to do. I get a big attitude about it. And I need to check that attitude because, Jesus, like, I might just have to get a job. I might just have to go do that thing. And I'm challenging myself to do hard things, but I still kind of do not want to dive headfirst into a big project of, like, I don't fucking want to do it, you know? That's nothing. Ooh, find your flow and do what makes you happiest. I was working through some shit on that one. Slay bitch. Slay bitch. Ooh, slay bitch. What's going on with me? I don't know. Things are probably not ever going to be as it should, and no one will ever know you are having an issue if you don't say anything. People cannot read your mind. Oh, what do you mean they can't read my mind? Confrontation doesn't always mean conflict. Sometimes you have to confront someone in order to assert your needs. Damn. What the fuck? You mean I gotta tell people how I feel? The fuck? You can't read that in my thoughts? The fuck? Carnelian. I still have that rock somewhere. I chipped it, unfortunately. Ooh, this was like my dissertation on before I broke up with my boyfriend. I had to write down all my feelings in great detail, and then I still kind of tried to back out. Being able to identify what your thoughts are is an important thing. Thoughts influence emotions, influence actions. Touch your butt, touch a bagel. What? Oh, yeah, okay. So the bagels. We had a sculpture teacher who would hold office hours at Einstein Bagels, and he would come to class once a week with a trash sack full of day-old bagels. When I tell you that that was my main source of sustenance for a solid year, I am not exaggerating, even in the slightest. I would eat crusty, hard-ass old bagels because they were fucking free. A snake? A slithering snake? Oh, some ceramic forms. Let me see. Let's go through this and see which ones I actually made. I made something like that. 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 I've made something like that and that. And that. I love ceramics. Oh my god, I want to do ceramics right now. Teeth. I made some copper teeth. Fuck you. Suck it, asshole. Suck it, asshole. I was drawing that. How do I make myself happy without hurting others? Oh, okay, so I read the 4 agreements. It's so funny. I remember going... Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Try your best. The 4 agreements actually started my spiritual awakening, and it gave me the courage to break up with a boy who did not love me the way that I needed to be loved. And also, I just like couldn't love myself the way that I needed to. And so therefore, I was like kind of a black hole in a lot of relationships. Like, I'll just be the first to admit it. But I really thought that, I think part of what like drew me to this boy was I think we were both kind of like broken in a way. And so I finally found someone who was as broken as I was. And so I could find someone who loved me and he would love me. And it just like didn't work out that way. Remember to always love and to always be grateful. Remember to just always love. Life goes on, bitch. I don't say bitch, but I mean it. Life goes on. Move on, move forward. Goodbye. Suck it up, honey. I kind of like the style of doodle that I got going on with these big words and the Zentangles. 2017. I have graduated college at this point. No, I haven't. I'm in my last semester of college. I'll be honest, when this relationship ended with a certain person, if you know, you know, I imploded and I was a terrible person. And really proved myself right that I was unlovable. You know, like when you believe terrible things about yourself, you then act in accordance to those terrible things. I went through this period in my art where I was making a lot of fabric plants. And I was drawing a lot of plants. I think I worked at Tempe Improv, and when I wasn't printing tickets and talking to customers, I was drawing plants and cataloging plants. Oh. What? Oh, yeah, okay. So those were notes for that job, for Tempe Improv. This is when I started to work with plastic. I would go and find Tupperware at the Goodwill and I would cut it up with my jeweler's saw and make these like really crazy layered like scenes, and they all fell apart. Believe it or not, the plastic broke and crumbled. This was the imagery that I was seeing when I did acid for the first time. I've only done acid twice. Probably won't do it again. Honestly, it didn't really do much for me. The first time I felt that unmistakable connection to all things that is like a very common experience with acid, and I saw vibrant bright colors, and this was kind of like what I was seeing. Some of the notes: spend more time in sunlight, paint, draw more, be comfortable doing your own thing. Iridescent things are key right now. Like iridescence, I would see these like iridescent lizards like crawling on the wall. That's like what I was seeing. Baby's day out. I did acid with people who I maybe shouldn't have done it with. And then the second time I did it, I was in the fucking desert, literally in Quartzsite, Arizona. There's nothing there. I'm stoned out of my mind from that tab of acid, feeling like a god watching humans just be so funny. Like, humans are so funny. And I was like, one thing about me is I have a really hard time going down a mountain because I feel like I'm going to fall and I'm kind of scared. But something about that experience broke me of that a little bit, where I was just able to like zip up and down these mountains like I was not scared. And then it made me depressed for like 2 days after, and I decided I don't really think I need to do this ever again. Big titties, big butts too. Hut one, hut two. Big titties, big butts too. Okay. More journaling. Don't apologize for being yourself. I mean, she's real for that. Suck my cock. Also real for that. Some patina notes. If you ever need to patina copper, I was taking a foundry class at this time. Here's some notes from a patina book. So screenshot as you need. And I don't think I ever did any of these patinas, so I cannot give you any thoughts or comments on them. Don't feel guilty for saying no. That's all I'm going to take from that page. End of this chapter. That is the end of this chapter, and an 800 number to call. The context of which number, I don't know. Well, that one was, I don't know. That was pretty cool. Let's look through this little pocket. Let's look through this pocket here. Keep little loose notes in the back of this thing. Arts and crafts movement. Oh, I've been actually considering the arts and craft movement lately because I feel like we're in another one. I think that specifically fibers crafting is in a huge resurgence. There's people doing things in the fine art world with knitting that's really, really cool. And just the way that fine art and folk art are always at odds with each other. I think all art is valid. Doesn't matter who created it. Doesn't matter your history with art and what you create and who you are. If you're creating, you're an artist. Even if, like, you know, like just anything. Food artist, garden artist, painter, drawer, knitter. Like, if you're creating, you're an artist. You're creating art. Even if you're like speaking into cameras and like making people think things. That's a form of art. But there's this elitism that happens within institutional art spheres where if it's not fine art, it's not valuable. And there's this idea that craft can't be art. And I just full body reject that. The people who are knitting and crocheting and creating these crazy, beautiful things right now, I'm seeing a lot of it. Maybe that's just because it's where my interests lie. But the crafts are resurging, and in a way that I think will impact art history. People will talk about this time as a craft movement again. What is this? Guidelines for objective effectiveness. Oh, I could probably review this. Dear man. Tell the person exactly what you're reacting to. Stick to the facts. I noticed that you got a stinky, unwashed ass. Assume that your feelings and opinions are not self-evident. Give a brief rationale. Use phrases such as, I would like for you to wash your ass. Ask for what you want. Say no clearly. Assume that others will not figure out what you want unless you ask.
I need you to wash your ass. Reinforce. It would be, if you do not wash your ass, I will not talk to you anymore. Keep your focus on your objectives. Maintain your position. Don't be distracted. I think I'm doing this wrong. Dear man. Okay. I've noticed that you got a stinky smell coming from you. I'm a little concerned that you're not washing your ass because you smell like an unwashed ass. I would really appreciate it if you would go wash your fucking ass. If you don't wash your fucking ass, I'm never going to talk to you again, you stinky ass. I know that it might seem kind of hard to wash your ass, but I promise you it's not. I could even help you, walk you through the process. Okay, appear confident is just like how you say it. No stammering. Look people in the eyes. I am not willing to negotiate on this, unfortunately. If you do not wash your ass, we cannot be friends anymore. As soon as you wash your ass, we can be friends again. Thank you. That's just a little example of Dear Man. The fuck? This is why did I keep that? The fuck? That's from when I worked at damn Tempe Improv. I haven't thought about that place in a while. Oh, Tyra Banks. Where did I go? Bitch, where'd I go? San Francisco? From Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, this is from the first 8123 Fest. Oh my God! Oh my God! Have fun for the first 8123 Fest! Oh my gosh, we've really come full circle. If you don't know, I made a whole video about this festival and my time going back to Arizona after living there for 10 years and then returning. My mom and I go to the 8123 Fest every time they hold it. I think we've only missed one because of COVID. And we went to the one that happened this year and it was a lot of fun. A phone number. And I don't know what that's for. Emphatics. I went to the Phoenix Art Museum. And I think that that's it. Oh. A haunted house. I think I went to this with Maddie. How fun. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm losing sunlight. So that's where we're going to end today.
Well, that was the video. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you watching even this far into the video. Offerings that I offer are going to be in my link tree down below. I have lots of jewelry for sale and something that's kind of related to the sketchbooks that I have started offering since doing these sketchbook series is mystery drawings. So as you see throughout the course of this series, my art will be developing. My skills are much different now than they were in whenever I was writing this. My skills are much different now than they were in 2016. You know, it's been almost a decade of artistic development since this time. And I want to offer you guys something that's like a little bit of a fun little gamble. It's just like a little moment in time that you can get like a very affordable piece of original art. But the catch is that you don't know what it's going to be. I'm calling them mystery drawings and I have 3 tiers. The first tier, complete mystery. You place your order, I make you a drawing and it shows up at your house and you get what you get. I will do my best. I'm not going to half-ass anything. It is genuinely very fun for me to just draw something for somebody and not have a lot of pressure on what it has to be. The second tier, so to speak, is still a mystery drawing, but you get to choose your color palette. So if you're like, I really hate pink, you just say anything but pink, or you choose 3 colors that you just like really love that are a part of like your vibe at the moment. I can incorporate that into a random drawing. Sometimes having some structure allows for a little bit more creative flow. Like, you know, you have some boundaries to flow in, kind of like a river. Like if a river flowed everywhere, it wouldn't exist. It has to have the boundaries of its shoreline to exist, you know? Sometimes I feel like that is what a prompt can be. And then for tier number 3, 3 colors and 1 subject. So it's a little bit more guidelines, a little bit more of a higher price tag, not tremendously high, truthfully. These are like very fairly priced. you'll get something that is within the theme and the color palette that you are choosing. That is an option. You can find that down on my website. There will be a link in the link tree that takes you to my website, and then from there you'll go to the top of the website that there's like a little tab, you know, that lots of websites that have, you know, e-commerce have. But I'm just going to walk you through this here. You click on that and I think something will pop out, or if you're on your browser, it'll just be at the top. You click shop and then there will be options. There will be all the jewelry options, my symbols line, which is also jewelry, and then drawings and paintings. And from there you'll have like hand painted wooden boxes or the mystery drawings. And that is what I'm referring to, is the mystery drawings. Or you can click on the search icon on my website and type in mystery drawings. It will pop up, I promise you. Those are the options for how to access that. If you're finding this like way in the future, I don't know what I'm offering. You can find all that in the link tree below and on my website. So with all that being said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching to the end. I appreciate you. If you made it this far, subscribe and tell me what your favorite part of the video was. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Are you inspired to start your own sketchbook practice? I hope you are. Let me tell you something. It is low stakes. You do not need to get a moleskin to have a journal sketchbook. In fact, as I was flipping through this even just this morning, realizing like moleskins are really nice sketchbooks. And for a long time, I used them as journals. And they're kind of expensive. You can go and get a blank sketchbook on Amazon for like $10. It does not have to be a fancy sketchbook. And it just is a space that offers you open, abundant creativity that is not on a screen. There's no internet required to access this. You need this and a pencil. And it doesn't even have to be a fancy pencil. It doesn't have to look like the fanciest materials. It doesn't have to look like the fanciest sketchbook. You can have 15 minutes over the course of a week to doodle in your sketchbook. And that is just getting the ball rolling for your creative energy. I really stand by a drawing practice. Even if you're somebody who doesn't really feel like you're an artistic person, if all you do is just write down ideas, that counts as creativity, you guys. Just having like a physical space to hold space for your creative energy that is like a judgment-free zone, I think is very important and something I will stand by until the day I die. So with all that being said, thank you for being here. Until next time, my friends. Bye.